winners, and welcome to Two for the Win. We have an episode in store for you today. We're going to talk about forecasted trades in the NFL. Should be interesting. As well as chatting about the NBA and who do we think is going to make a push in the last 25 games or so to make the playoffs, and who do we think are going to falter across the finish line in the NBA. Again, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And thank you to Hard Rock Bet for sponsoring today's episode. If you want to put a little wager, you got a feeling about a game or a player, use Hard Rock Bet. You can sign up below if you don't have an account today. All right, my friend Nick, where do you want to start first? Football, basketball? What's your pleasure?
Let's start basketball.
Basketball? All right. So we just finished up with the All-Star game last weekend. Dame just missed doing a three-peat on a three-point contest. I had to throw Bucks in there. Thank you for wearing the Bucks hat. Very much appreciated.
You're welcome.
But the All-Star game is kind of meh. So let's talk about how we see the remainder of the year going. What teams do you think might make a push and make some noise to get into the playoffs, and which ones do you think are going to falter?
Yeah, so to start, I would begin with the Eastern Conference, and I would think Orlando has some potential.
I laugh because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about what we're gonna say in advance, so it's not prediction company was telling us to do.
Right.
But yeah, no, Orlando. Why? I was very high on Orlando beginning of the year. Then of course they had Banchero being out, and then 1 year being out. The brother 1 year being out, and he's not gonna come back this year. So that's another story. But now that Banchero and 1 year are back, that was a little bit shaky. But the last 20, 22, 25 game before the playoff start, I think Orlando has a potential to get out of the play-in zone and going into the playoff. And I think they will be very dangerous. Nobody would want to face them. If they can get to the 5th or 6th place, I think they have a chance. If they are in the play-in, I don't think anyone can beat really Boston or Cleveland from the play-in phase. But even though I'm high on New York and Indiana and Milwaukee, I think they could beat all of them. New York would be the biggest upset, but on the East is Orlando. What about you? You said Orlando as well. But
Yeah, I think Orlando for the same reasons you said. I do also think I know I don't feel great about this one, but I'm not saying they're going to create noise in the playoffs, but get into the playoffs and maybe knock some team out. I think Philadelphia might squeak in there. Right now they're just outside the play-in game, but they're really only a game and a half from Chicago. I see Miami continuing to go down. I think Atlanta, after trading Hunter, may go down. So I think Philly, I'm not saying they'll get in the top 6. I think Orlando will get in the top 6. But I think Philly gets in there. And then in the play-in matchup, they could create some noise. But, once they play Cleveland or Boston, then they're done.
yeah, I mean, good point. And what about the team you think will drop? Because if you have, and me too, Orlando in, then someone needs to drop, and that's where it's become interesting because I like the team I see in front.
Yeah, I think Atlanta, Miami, Chicago all traded away key players. I think all could be stumbling across the finish line. So it's not like there's a lot of momentum going in there, but I see those three going down. I think Detroit, kudos to Detroit, putting together a over 500 year at the time of this recording. Good for them, but I don't see them finishing in the top 6. I think it'll be Cleveland, Boston, New York, Indiana, Milwaukee, and Orlando. I think the top 3 are pretty set. I think it'll be Cleveland, Boston, New York. I think the next 3, they'll change over the course. Certainly could see Indiana keeping the 4, but I could see Orlando getting as high as 4. I think the Bucks, who knows? The Bucks are, I don't know what to make of the Bucks. So I would say
Yeah,
5.
I think the obvious choice would be Detroit. Even though I like the youth, I like the dynamism, the way they play. Cunningham is taking a leap this year. I really like the coaching also from Bickerstaff. I think that he's doing a pretty damn good job. I think it's the obvious choice. And I know I'm wearing the Bucks thing, but I think that with depending on Giannis' health, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop because they're only two games ahead. I think that Orlando will have a better end of the year. We'll see if Detroit can keep that pace. I think that's important that they got some rest now with the All-Star break because other than Cunningham, they all got a lot of rest now, so it can go both ways with young people.
Yeah.
So Detroit or Milwaukee, I see them dropping. Indiana, I think they had a difficult beginning of the year, but then they're pretty solid and they have experience, so I don't think they're gonna drop. Philadelphia, I'm not with you. That's where I disagree. I don't see Philadelphia doing anything this year. They nothing clicked. They don't play together. Their best player is Maxi. Let's be honest now, and I don't know that doesn't work. I think that this summer is gonna be an interesting summer because they just have just before the season start, they have Embiid contract extension for 2 more years, which they didn't need to do, and they decided to do it before the season start, and bam, he got another knee surgery to come. It's gonna be interesting because no one would want to trade for him, and they stuck
contract.
They stuck with him paying 50-60 million a year for the next 4 years. So it's gonna be interesting what they're gonna do in Philadelphia. But let's go on the West. Whose team do you think are gonna be going up?
I know that the whole Kevin Durant trade saga caused a major rift in that locker room with the GM and ownership, but it's hard for me to think a team with that much talent can't get into the playing game. Again, I don't think they'll get top 6, but can they get somewhere between 7 and 10? I think Dallas is going to drop. I think the injuries now, and it's not just to bash Dallas because of the Luka trade, but the fact AD got hurt out for a month or other centers hurt. It seems like bad karma is coming to that franchise. And I would expect Dallas to drop out and Phoenix to sneak in. And I do also think my pick before the season started, San Antonio, I'm not jumping off their bandwagon. I think San Antonio can sneak in there. Now that probably means Sacramento or Golden State has to fall out. Assuming Dallas falls out like I think they might. If I go between the two, I think I trust Sacramento actually a tiny bit more than Golden State. So I will say Phoenix and San Antonio gets in, Dallas and Golden State fall out.
Wow, that's an interesting take there. That's an interesting take. I would pick one. I would pick San Antonio. I think that the Fox trade, now they will start getting more used to each other. I think that's they can do something. No, they don't have a lot of time to waste because they have like 24 games left or so, and they are 4 games behind. So they really need to, because people see like Butler, like he changed everything, and then the stupid comment of Green as usual. Because I never heard him say something that he's not stupid, but we're gonna be champion. We're gonna be champion this year. No, you're not gonna be. Their ceiling is first round exit. Like, let's be honest. If they reach the first round, that's a success for Golden State. Sacramento, I like them, but with all the change that happened, they still don't have a coach, Doc Christie. I think that they may drop as well, but I think that San Antonio has a real shot to get into the play-in, and again, that's going to be an interesting team. Nobody will want to play them. Definitely 20 games in. If they can get to the play-in, it means that they had a very solid end of the season. That means that Fox and Wemby find each other a lot better now, and the team is working better. They said Popovich coming back. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest. I think it's an all-time great. I think it's probably the best ever coach with Phil Jackson. But the last few years, I'm not impressed by his work, and I was not impressed the way he used Wembanyama, and I think Wembanyama just went way better when the change of coach happened. Of course, I don't wish any hill from Popovich, but it's just what my eyes said. But we'll see. Phoenix, they can squeeze in, but I really don't think that anything can happen from that team neither.
Yeah,
I think them and Golden State are in the same boat. So maybe Sacramento drop. However, the team that I believe will go in a better direction and will end up in the playoff is a team that I don't particularly like, but I think they have what it needs, Minnesota. I think the Timberwolves will end up in the top 6, and I think the Clippers will drop. That's what I see myself. I think the Clippers exceed the expectations from beginning of the season. By losing George, by Leonard, like always in between. I think Harden played very well. Of course, Powell, he went through another gear. So it's very interesting but I think they don't have the players to really make a deep push. So I think they may drop a position and Minnesota go in. That's what I expect, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like that. I could see that for sure between Minnesota and the Clippers swapping spaces. So one thing that I heard, of course, everyone's got all these little whispers and rumors and stuff. So I'm going to ask you a question about a possible scenario, and you let me know, do you think it's a 50-50 chance, greater than 50% chance, or less than 50% chance?
Shoot.
You ready?
Yeah.
Kyrie goes to the Lakers next year. Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, over 50%. I could see it. I would have said totally no last year or 2 years ago, but I think no, why not actually? Like that may be something. Actually, that would
Because
be
he could opt out.
Yeah, that would be actually a very good deal for the Lakers because of course I like the partnership. I was a big doubters. I was very negative when they trade for Curry at first. Like, let's be honest, that was challenging the first year, but they made it to the finals.
He gelled with Luka.
I know. This year I thought that it was challenging with the injuries of Luka and things like that. But I think they know each other. So adding that to the LeBron factor, of course, they know to play with each other. But again, the Lakers, they need size and they need defense. So I don't know. But yeah, I would I would say over.
Wow, can you imagine? That'd be wild. Well, so much fun. So the off seasons are almost as fun as the regular seasons now. So
I know.
Things. Awesome. Well, there we go. So there you have it. Some risers and some fallers that we see in the NBA. I don't think you made reference to Draymond Green and he was calling the regular season games boring. That's not what you want on All-Star Weekend when you're more well-known players saying stuff like that.
Oh my God! If he made my comments as soon as I heard, because I was watching live the All-Star game, and as soon as he made that comment, 0 out of 10. I worked so hard to make it to the Sunday game. My take is if Draymond Green can make it to Sunday, I have no problem to have the Rising team making as well, because this guy is one of the most overrated player in the history of NBA. I think I know basketball. I watch both sides of the floor. He's overrated in defense and he's overrated in offense because he's an awful offensive player. He has an IQ when it comes to the passing skills.
Yeah, the pass. He can pass.
But he can pass, but come on.
Yeah.
And people Hall of Fame, I mean, are you serious? And he's gonna end up in Hall of Fame because
which is crazy.
Everybody and their mother can end up at the Hall of Fame in basketball. But come on. The guy is at 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, or 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 rebound, and 2.5 turnover, less than 45% shooting percentage, 31% 3-point percentage, and in the 70s in free throws. Like, there is nothing that is actually over mediocrity.
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
Right.
And he's talking all the time. Like, no, we need to stop with that. So if that guy made it to the Sunday All-Star game, I have any problem no problem at all to have young kids who fought very hard, who played their arse out to make the All-Star game relevant for those people to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah, I'm with you. Nothing to dispute. I'm all on board with everything you said on that one.
You better, because I'm getting upset.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I couldn't let it go when you mentioned it. And you let it. You didn't jump on it as much as I thought you would, so I had to bring it back.
God, this guy.
I know.
He caused more losses than wins for Golden State. If he was not part of the team, they would still have the chips that they have currently, but they probably have one more without Draymond Green. That's literally my take.
Yeah, because he was getting kicked out of games and suspended and everything and stuff. So yeah, he wasn't even always around because he was causing headaches with the refs and stuff. Yeah. Well, you saw Steph's facial expression. I think it was a week and a half ago when Draymond was going off and Steph just was whatever, and then Draymond went up to Steph and.
I wish we knew what Steph was thinking, because Steph is too nice of a guy. He will never say a bad word to anyone. But come on, that's also why I don't have Steph as a good leader. Right. I have Steph as the best shooter ever, an example as a human being. But come on, he's not a leader.
No, he is not. All right, let's pivot to the NFL. Actually, since I just came up with this little 50%, 50-50, over 50, under 50, I'm going to ask you a question that hits a little close to home. But I am kind of curious about your take.
I will say what I feel.
No, I know. Does Micah Parsons get traded 50-50, over 50, under 50 from the Cowboys?
Well, it's hard. I think I had 50.
Yeah, 50-50.
So I think should there, I don't want him to leave, because when you have someone who is as talented in one of the two most important positions in football, who is still young, I mean, no, come on, you need to. He's at what, like 60 tackles or 60 sacks in 6 years. No, he's consistent as ever. Yeah. Okay, he opened his mouth when we wait a little bit too much, but again, it's part of the game. I don't trade talent in one of the two main positions. So, but with Jerry, I never know.
See, here's the thing that floors me about even discussing about trading him. And I understand the contract and the salary cap, but he's a disruptive talent. You don't find those people that easily. If you trade him, and I go back to what Jerry said during the Super Bowl, I'm surprised we're not here. But if he really believes it, if he believes Dallas is that close and they got snake bitten because Dak got hurt or whatever, then why would you trade Micah Parsons, right? So if he trades him, unless he's trading him for another player, like established NFL player and some picks. But if he just trades him for picks, basically you're saying, no, we're not that close. So it's like, I'm really curious because he's like talking out of both ends of his mouth. If he trades Micah Parsons, then I'm like, no, then you really don't think you're close. You think you're at least a couple years away.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. All right. So anyway, thank you for indulging me in that one. But I just can't fathom them trading him. But stranger things have happened.
I have a over under 50 for you as well.
Okay.
And it's gonna be close to home for you as well.
Okay.
Over under Green Bay trading for a wide receiver that you used to have. You know who I'm thinking?
Yeah, Davante
Adams.
Yeah.
Do you think over under Green Bay trading for him?
I'm going to say under, and you're going to be shocked at who I'm going to say over.
Ooh.
I think they have a, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain freeze. The Rams receiver they're putting on the block. Cup. I think they do that because I think Cup wouldn't cost as much.
True.
LaFleur and are tight. Yeah, those guys are tight. And I think Davante, I don't know why, but I think if Rodgers goes to like the Raiders.
No, he would not go back to the Raiders.
I think he would.
I don't think
because he lives there.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
Maybe not.
I would.
I mean, they accommodated him. I would too. I mean, they traded him after they got rid of Carr, and he probably knows. Okay, Rodgers is here for 1 or 2 years. I mean, it just wouldn't shock me. But But I think,
All right. Interesting. All right, that's a good first take.
Yeah, we'll see. Miles Garrett, obviously he's asked to be traded. Cleveland has said they're not going to trade him. We know things change, especially when it gets closer to the draft. So let's just play a game where Miles Garrett does get traded. What do you think is a realistic return Cleveland should expect to get for somebody like Miles Garrett?
How many years contract left?
3, I think. 3 or 4.
Oh my God.
Actually, that's a great question. I'll look that up while you consider it. Is it going to make a huge difference? I don't think it's 1.
Realistically, looking back at what other team traded the last couple of years for some talent.
2 years.
I think 2 years. Okay, so I think he could be getting 2 first and probably 1 or 2 second.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's the second most important position, and he's young and he's playing all the time. He's never get hurt. I mean, but the most interesting take is like, who would I want to see him go to without saying my team? Okay, so let's take our teams out.
Yeah.
The Chargers.
Oh, him with
I
Bosa?
would love to have, and again, because I want to see him. I mean, the Cowboys, because of Parsons and him, that's in my mind.
Oh my gosh,
but other than that, I like to have him like together with another pass rusher like this. If you have Bosa and him, knowing Arbaugh's mentality about the O-line, the D-line, and you have those two coming in from the back, oh my God, who's gonna score points against Chargers?
Yeah, I tell you what, you know who's going to love that more than anybody else? The cornerbacks who play for the Chargers, because they're going to get paid because nobody's going to be able to throw the ball.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But look at the yeah. No.
I love that. I say, you know who, I haven't heard a lot about Miles Garrett going to this team, but I think they could do it. Are the Bills. Like, Von Miller's getting older.
Yeah.
You can't really count on him for more than situational pass rush in the 3rd round. They're there. They're on the cusp. You bring in somebody like Miles Garrett.
You're right.
I mean, it's not as sexy of a pairing with Bosa, because I think those two coming off would be a nightmare for teams. But I think the team who would really benefit from having him would be Buffalo. Buffalo.
You're right, because you want to win. So I think that that Charger are, you know, I always said I didn't expect the first year of Harbaugh to be that good. No, okay, at the end, you know, like, you know, that was kind of upsetting at the end for them. But now he already started remodeling the team. Now he has a full off season, a full draft. He knows exactly what he needs to reinforce the O and D line. He knows really the piece who are missing. And I think they will make a leap next year. And then for me, there's no excuse. I love Herbert, but next year is the year that he needs to take a leap. If he doesn't take a leap next year, I think they need to question maybe, even though I love the way he plays so much. But in important cases, I need to be honest, because I'm hard on Jackson and stuff. He's underwhelming in important situations like playoffs or the end of the year when he needs to perform. So next year I don't give him any kind of pass. But I think Harbaugh will make a difference there. So that's why I think Charger have a clear shot next year. Also the fact that we both believe that Kansas City is going to drop.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when someone needs to win that division, I think Denver is good. But I think it's going to be Denver. Charger will be interesting.
Yeah.
But the Bills, you're right. If they get Garrett, I mean, any contending team who is getting Garrett, that's a leap. Like, you know, automatically, because the guy is like a monster and he's a hard worker, you know.
Yeah, and if I'm Buffalo, I trade for Garrett. They'll probably have to sign him to an extension. I'm sure that's going to be part of it. But okay, let's say your trade package, you give up 2 1s and a 2 or a 3. Well, the 2 1s are going to be in the late 20s, early. So who cares? Like, what's the difference between that and
a
you
high
know,
second,
yeah, moving up to high to mid second? I mean, it's a crapshoot. Anyway, I would do that in a heartbeat if I was Buffalo. And I think, but yeah, the Bosa Garrett signing, oh my gosh. The thing about Herbert, I hope it's not the case, David Carr, remember the brother of Derek Carr? He got drafted by Houston and he got pummeled. He got sacked so much in his career and had so many changes in offensive coordinators that he never was. He completely fell apart. And you see some of these quarterbacks that get hit a lot young. Herbert took a lot of hits. Now, he played, I think, better in previous years than what he played this past year, even though his touchdown to interception ratio was ridiculously good. But obviously the playoff, that was a nightmare with the 4 picks. But I just hope he hasn't gotten shellacked so much, because Harbaugh will build the line. We were talking about that the other day. But let me run another scenario I just heard the other day, and I haven't talked to you about it yet. Projection of, it's going to involve the Packers, sorry, but Max Crosby goes to the Packers. They send Max Crosby in a 3rd round pick to the Packers. The Packers give him a 2nd round pick in this year's draft and a 1st round pick in next year's draft. If you were the Raiders GM, do you do that trade?
So they would get a first, a second, but they lose a 3rd.
Yeah, a 3rd in next year's draft, and Max Crosby. They get a 2nd in this year's draft and a 1st in next year's draft.
Crosby is one of those you can probably get better, but they're not far. Yeah, I think it's close.
Close?
It's close.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, I mean Crosby is one of those as well. Like such a heart. I mean, this guy is a change for the locker room.
Oh yeah.
So I love those kind of players. So yeah, that's good. The problem is that you still have that quarterback though. So
actually, yeah, we'll see. Year 3. The next year will be a telling year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Who else is potential? Oh, well, it's not a trade, but Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my God, the sofa. Like no, and please don't put him on the booth because I cannot freaking listen to him. So if he's on the booth, that game will be muted in my house. So I'm not gonna put the volume.
Find a radio station to listen to.
This is such a no. I cannot listen to him.
I don't know if he's going to play. Like, if they're talking about no one's going to give him a big contract. So does he come back for 25, 30 mil? If he gets that?
No.
I don't see him doing that to the ego.
And he cannot play for a contender. So it's going to be for a team like a rebuilding team like the Las Vegas Raiders or something like that. So why would he come back to not do nothing? Like just to get paid less? And to just play for a team that's gonna lose all the time.
That's what keeps running through my mind. Like,
no.
Yeah. So
I think he hopes maybe on Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh, I mean, I don't know if he's better than what they have currently.
The thing about older quarterbacks that nobody really talks about, and I saw it with Favre, I saw it with Rodgers. And you've seen it with some of these other quarterbacks who play in cold weather climates. When they get older, the cold hurts more. They don't play well. Like Green Bay lost a championship game to the Giants with Favre when it was super cold, and that's when the Giants upset the Patriots in that Super Bowl with the helmet catch.
Articulations.
Rodgers, we lost to the 49ers when we held them to 13 points. We couldn't score more than 10 points in that game. And I think some of these older guys, so if you put Rodgers and he goes anywhere cold weather, even if he has a good October, November, he's not probably going to have a good December and not good in the playoffs. So I think he has to be dome or warm weather or pass.
I think pass. That's what I think. It's what I hope, but that's what I think as well, honestly. I don't think that he's gonna go for what?
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense for him to come back.
Last quick question, because I know we're coming close to time. We'll do the 50% or over 50 or under 50. Tennessee trades the first pick of the draft.
Over. I really think they trade.
Yeah.
I really think they trade the first.
So, all right, just humor me. Who do you think is the one who's looking to jump up to number 1? Like, who would be your top 2 teams you think would jump up?
Vegas would definitely be one. Another one, not Pats, the Jets. I could see the Jets jumping if they believe that one of the 2 top quarterback, because Yeah, the Giants seems to be in love with the Ole Miss quarterback Dart, so they don't need to jump very high to get him. I think they are at 5'6", so I think that's enough for that player. So yeah, I would say Vegas and Jets.
Woo, that would be something, you know.
I mean, they can get a lot. Again, when you trade the first round, you get a few firsts for a couple of years, 2-3 years in a row. So
yeah,
if you're Tennessee, you have so many holes. Why not trade to get a fortune for and then just have a Kirk Cousin coming and build everything around.
Yeah,
That's what I would do, because for the next 2-3 years it will be rebuilding. So let's just take an older quarterback and just build the O line, the D line, the pass rusher, the like everybody, cornerback, safety.
just like the Patriots could have done if they lost the last game.
I know, I will never understand that part.
Oh, I understand. He was trying to save his job, and he cost them. Just
He knew by winning it was a trouble for him. So
yeah, same with Lovie Smith with the Houston that time. I kind of love it when these guys do that. It's like, because hey, you can't bash them for their competitive nature. They play to win the game, like Herb
they could
Edwards.
do that the other rest of the year, maybe. That's my take. But if I'm a fan of Patriots and that happened,
Oh yeah, I believe
oh
it.
my god! Even though they would have the first pick, they would be in a good position to
Oh
trade
my
down.
gosh, because they got a quarterback.
Yeah, they could trade down and then get like a hole for that with the coach coming in. That would have been perfect, but it's not.
I
the
do like
case.
Vrabel, so
Me
it's
too.
tough for me because I want him to do well. I just can't stand the Patriots.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
their
really a
fan.
torn.
We like their fan. All right.
All right, well, there you have it, winners. So a little speculative action on the NBA and NFL. So much to talk about over the next coming weeks. So thanks for joining us. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. Please be sure to check out Hard Rock Bet, our sponsor of today's episode, if you don't already have an account. And we will see you next week on next Fanatic Friday and chat more about today's speculation and events. So be well, winners. Take care.
Bye, winners.